Hello, welcome to the Growth Coaching Podcast. I'm your host, Brad. I'm the personal trainer and the coach here at Growth Coaching Co. Lovely to have you. Never done a podcast before. This is probably going to be terrible. Nobody's going to listen to it though, so it's going to be all right. So we're going to give this a crack and see how it goes. I apologize. I have some notes in front of me. I'm really going to try hard to stay on script, but also I don't have very much of a script. As you can see, there's a couple of notes here if you are not listening to this, if you are watching. Otherwise, if you are listening, I have a couple of things here to try and keep me on track, but otherwise I tend to ramble, so we'll see how we go. Apologies about that. Welcome. Lovely to have you here. Thanks for coming and hanging out. Today, we're going to be talking about how to get you started if you have a lot of weight to lose. This is for people who are currently overweight, are not in the gym, but are interested in getting started in the gym. Either have no idea where to start or have a little bit of an idea, but just haven't made that first step yet. And then might potentially also be in a not too great mental health position. Potentially you are somebody who struggles with depression or anxiety, and those things, for lack of a better term, can't think of a good word right now, those things are made worse by the fact that you are out of shape, you are unhappy, you don't move much, etc. So today I'm going to take you through a really simple 5-step framework to get you started, essentially, and hopefully losing some weight and moving in the right direction so that you can have a better life and actually be happy, because you deserve to be happy and you deserve to enjoy your life. So a brief little introduction. I am a personal trainer and a nutrition coach, and I have been for the last 7 years. I started my journey in group fitness, working with lots and lots of people every single day. And then I became a one-on-one personal trainer where I was able to have a little bit more impact one-on-one, have the hard conversations, all that sort of stuff, tailor people's exercises to exactly what they want rather than doing what group fitness says that they need to do. And I now do a combination of group fitness, one-on-one personal training, and then also online coaching as well. I have some clients who are interstate, others who are in Adelaide, which is where I'm from. And I am very lucky that I get to do what I love for a living. I'm very well aware that not everybody has that luxury. Where was I prior to starting this? I was probably very similar to where you are right now. I had no career aspirations. I was working in a retail job. I was an assistant manager there, tried to climb the ranks as much as I could, but I was a full-time smoker, a full-time stoner, and I was extremely depressed, extremely anxious, and really out of shape. I was super unhealthy, and to be honest, I was just living a life that I really didn't like. For a long time growing up, I struggled with depression and anxiety, and then also a borderline eating disorder. And I made all three of those my really big wall to stop me from achieving the thing that I wanted to achieve. I put those 3 excuses, in quotations, if you're not watching this on camera, I put those 3 excuses as barriers to stop me from doing what I wanted to do in my life. Partially because they gave me an identity, and I found comfort in that. That is something that I have since been able to break out of. I eventually found the gym, started getting into it, and started trying to eat a little bit healthier. And I went and studied to become a personal trainer so that I could learn what I was doing wrong and just try and make sure that I was doing everything correct, because I didn't have a coach. I didn't know that you could get coaches back when I first started. And so I wanted to learn as much as I possibly could for myself. So I did that, and then along the way found that I actually have a passion for helping people, and then I've been doing it ever since. But back to my journey, I have gone from the smoker who was out of shape, who was unhappy, and who was anxious to somebody who I am really proud of. Yes, I struggle with those things occasionally from time to time still, but overall I am in a significantly better position. I have lost a bunch of weight a bunch of times, currently in a calorie deficit. No, I'm not the most muscular personal trainer you'll ever see, so it might look like I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but I'm on my own journey and I am getting there, and I am in a better position than I was last year, which is in a better position than I was 3 years ago. So overall, I'm making progress. I'm happy with that. The gym has changed my life. And you will hear this from a lot of personal trainers, not because I now look great and I'm really vain and I'm really up myself, but because it has shown me that I can set challenges that I don't think that I could possibly ever achieve. And then provided I show up and do the work, I can actually do those things. I've run a marathon, I've run a half marathon, I've lifted some weights that I never thought I'd be able to lift, which I'm really stoked about. And more importantly, regarding the gym, I have found people who are living the life that I want to live. They support me to be a happier and a healthier person. They don't drag me down if I have ambitions or aspirations, and they really help to support the lifestyle that I want to live because they are living that exact same lifestyle. So I found best mates, friendship groups, clients. Those are the people that I spend every day with, and I would never change that for the world. So I am here today to try and help you the exact same way that I try and help everybody else in my life. Over the last few years, I have come into contact with probably thousands of people that I have helped better their fitness in some capacity, whether it's group fitness or in person or online or personal training, whatever it is. I see and speak with and help so many people. I post a lot on TikTok and other various social medias, so you can go and follow those there if you want some little bite-sized pieces of advice. And now I want to try and help you. I'm also doing this because my public speaking skills, I would like them, sorry about that. I would like my public speaking skills to be a little bit better. So me speaking directly to a camera and not being able to cut or edit anything out, I think is a pretty good way to do so. So we'll see how we go. Anyway, after 6 minutes of yapping, it is time to get in and help you. So like I mentioned at the start, this is going to be how you can get started if you currently have a lot of weight to lose. I am guessing by the fact that you are either watching or listening to this, that you are currently overweight, inactive, depressed, and anxious, at least those four. You, because of the fact that you are watching or listening to this, clearly want to take some sort of action, which is an absolutely massive first step. The first step of this, before we can get into anything, there's two hippie woo-woo ones, so just bear with me, and then there's some actual actionable advice for you. The first one is to acknowledge the pain of where you are currently at and make the decision to change. I have helped a lot of people go from well over 100 kilos to below 100 kilos for the first time in a very long time. My heaviest client when I started working with him was 160 kilos. He is now in the 90s every other day. So he is absolutely killing it at the moment. He is not an outlier. I have worked with a lot of clients and have helped them lose a ton of weight. The common denominator that I have spoken with these people about is that when they started, life was hard. This is not me as an 85 kilo, 27-year-old PT sitting on the other side of the fence giving you shit. This is from what I've heard from my clients who have been in a similar position. Being overweight, being depressed, and being anxious, two that I can relate to a little bit more, are all extremely hard. Life is difficult. It is hard to walk. It is hard to climb a flight of stairs. It is hard to get on and off the couch. It is extremely painful and embarrassing to have your weight be the thing that stops you from doing things that you want to do. I have had clients who can't buckle their seat up in an airplane seat. I have had clients who went to an amusement park, Disney World, Disneyland, whichever one it is, and were not allowed on a ride because they were too heavy. You have to acknowledge the fact that you are uncomfortable and how painful this current position is. When that pain gets great enough, you will choose to make the change and head in that direction. If you don't acknowledge how hard everything is for you right now, I'm going to go through the rest of these steps, and in a week's time, you're going to be exactly where you are right now. So get uncomfortably specific about how much life sucks right now and how much you do not want to be there. Once you have figured that out and you are uncomfortable about things, it is now time for you to make the decision to change. And buckle up, because this is a really fucking long ride. Once you have made the decision and you choose to embark down this path, it doesn't matter whether you are 1 month in, 2 months in, 3 years down the track. You are choosing to not give up until you get to your goals. You are going to have setbacks. There are going to be obstacles. There will be things that you cannot possibly fathom right now that will jump out at you out of nowhere and all of a sudden make that progress really fucking hard. We're going to go through some of those things, but currently you don't know where to start. You don't know how to do anything in the gym. You might not know how to eat healthy, and you might just have overall no knowledge about anything health and fitness related. So once you commit to making this change, commit to it and just learn to figure it out. You can jump off the cliff and learn to fly on the way down, and I promise you'll be able to do so. Every time an objection or an obstacle or something comes up, it's time to learn to figure out how to get around that obstacle. Do not let them come up and stop you in your tracks. You need to keep going. Step number 2, which is the last hippie woo-wah one, is what does the new you look like? What does the person you are currently trying to turn yourself into do on a daily basis? What are their actions, their habits, their thoughts, their feelings, their beliefs? And what do they, what are all of the things that embody them as them? For example, in terms of habits, that new person probably moves a fair bit. They probably get their steps in every single day. They probably take care of their nutrition. They probably choose to say no to lots and lots of junk foods because they know that those foods aren't going to make them feel good. They value their health and their fitness. They go to the gym. They do some sort of exercise, can be whatever, Pilates, yoga, strength training is what I do and what I teach my clients to do. So ideally, lifting some weights. And they do those things because they make them feel better. These actions and these values, they don't waver from when things get hard. They always think and always believe and always follow through on those values. That means that you need to do the same. How do those people, we've gone over how they act, what do they think? Those people think quite highly of themselves. They have self-respect. They talk to themselves in a nice manner. They are not consistently berating themselves and putting themselves down. If something comes up that they have done wrong or an obstacle, they talk to themselves logically about it. Okay, what can I do here? What do I actually have control of? What could I do next time? And they are patient with themselves. That's thoughts, that's actions, beliefs. These people believe that they have control over their life. They believe that if they are active and eating good and sleeping good and have good quality friendship groups around them, their depression, their anxiety can be significantly decreased or made significantly better by their actions. They believe that they have control. Once they choose that they have control, they will be able to follow through on those things and action them to a point where they actually achieve their goals. So exactly what does this new person look like? What do they do? How do they behave? And then once you know what those things are that they do, you are going to start doing them. The only difference between this person that you want to be and the person that you are now is that the person that you want to be does all of those actions and they follow through on them on a daily task, on a daily basis rather. This is a little bit of a fake it until you make it, except the thing is, you're not faking it because by you actually doing those things, you will turn yourself into the person that you want to be. What are the things that you are currently doing now that are the opposite of that? You don't move, you eat like crap, you don't go to the gym, you think that your depression and your anxiety isn't a choice and that you have no control over it. So if we can figure out what all the opposite of those are, then you can start doing the opposite things and start moving your life in a good direction. Okay, that's the hippie woo out of the way. Step number 3 is to understand energy balance. Again, I feel I am presuming that I'm speaking to somebody who needs to lose weight. Energy balance has 2 factors that come into it: the food that you consume, the energy that comes in, and then the energy that you expend, the energy that you burn throughout the course of the day. We can we can change those levers to either gain, maintain, or lose weight. If you eat more than you are burning, which is what you have done for the last 20, 30, 40, 50 kilos, your weight will go up because you have a calorie surplus. There is extra energy there that you are not burning, so it has to get stored. If you are eating the same amount as what you are burning, you are maintaining weight. Your energy in and your energy out are exactly the same. And then lastly, if you consume less than you move, so you're in a calorie deficit, you consume less energy, there is less energy coming in than there is going out, you will lose weight because you are operating at a deficit. Your body has to take your stored energy stores, your body fat, and use it for energy and use it for fuel. That is how people lose weight. Yes, insulin resistance is something that is going to make things harder. Yes, PCOS is something that is going to make things harder. Yes, hormone imbalances are going to make things harder, but they do not change the fact that you need to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight. How do we get you into a calorie deficit? First thing we want to do is we need to get you eating better, and then we want to get you moving more. So we're going to start with eating better. When it comes to energy balance, one of the big things that you need to understand is that everyone's energy requirements are different. These are based on your height, your age, your weight, and then also your activity level. So everybody will differ in this context. Apologies, just thinking about what I want to say. That means that everyone is going to eat slightly differently, and you have to figure out where you are currently at and what can you do to eat a little bit healthier. Without overcomplicating things, if I ask you what is healthy eating, you probably have a basic fundamental idea of what eating healthier than you currently do could look like. Plenty of fruits, lots of vegetables, lots of protein, limiting takeout, deep fried foods, fast foods of any context, and not drinking a bunch of alcohol. So in terms of giving you something to be able to go off of, we really want to try and prioritize our fruit and our veg intake. I would also recommend low calorie carbohydrates like potatoes. Potatoes are absolutely fantastic. Things like breads, pastas, rice, etc. None of those foods are inherently bad. They just cost more calorie-wise. If you are composing your diet of very expensive foods, it is going to be very easy for you to spend far too many calories. If you comprise your diet of very cheap foods, then you should be able, it's going to make it significantly harder for you to spend too much calorie-wise. If anything, it might help you save a little bit, which is exactly what we want you doing to lose weight. So fresh fruits, healthy vegetables, all vegetables are healthy, fresh fruits and vegetables, low calorie carbohydrates, and then making sure that you are hitting a protein intake. If you want to streamline all of this, download MyFitnessPal, get yourself some macronutrients and a calorie goal, and plug absolutely every single thing in there, weigh every single thing out, and hit those calories, and you will start losing weight. It is that simple. Yes, learning to calorie track is a skill that is going to take you a little while to figure out, but also if you don't give up on it, you're going to lose weight. What's the alternative is that if you don't give up, the literal only alternative is that you will eventually lose weight and you will get to your goal. The last thing I will say food-wise is there's a few things that we want to avoid. When you eat out, you don't have any control over the foods or over the way that foods are cooked. For example, if you were to have a steak and chips at a restaurant, for example, That steak might be cooked in butter or a bunch of oil. Those chips are going to be deep fried. All of those little things are going to add significantly to the amount of calories in those meals. If you were to cook at home, the steak that you cook just on the barbecue, probably with not very much oil because it doesn't need it, maybe you put some like frozen chips in an air fryer, those calories are going to be significantly lower than if you were to eat out. So the first thing I would say is avoid eating out as much as you possibly can. Start trying to cook and make a lot of those foods at home. Do some preparation on a Sunday so that you have all of your foods cooked and ready to rock and roll for the week. You don't need to get crazy fancy, real fucking 5-star Michelin chef about this shit. You literally just need to make something that is edible and doesn't have a crazy amount of calories in it. So don't overcomplicate things. The second thing the second place that people go wrong when it comes to tracking calories or trying to be in a calorie deficit is they overlook how many calories are in things like oils, butters, creams, sauces, and the drinks they have during the day. All of these 5 things are hidden calories. You don't, outside of the drink, you don't really see these things as they are going into your mouth, but they still have a lot of calories in them, so we need to be conscious of that. Eggs cooked in butter are going to be significantly higher calorie-wise than eggs just cooked in a non-stick pan by themselves with no butter. The mayonnaise that you have, the sauces that you have on a regular basis, if you're chronically sourcing your foods, they have lots of extra calories in them too. Same thing with the drinks that you have. Alcohol is very expensive calorie-wise, and then if you drink full cream milk, lots of juice, cordial, soda, why did I say soda? I'm Australian. Soft drink, all of those things have lots and lots of calories in them. Your easiest option there would be to switch those out for diet, low sugar or low fat options, in which case you can still enjoy a lot of those things, but they are significantly lower calorie than what they would be if you were having the regular versions. That's pretty much your diet. So we're going to go fresh fruits and vegetables for the majority of your diet. Hit a protein intake, which I would recommend tracking calories for to make sure that you are getting plenty of protein in. Protein is very satiating. It will keep you feeling full and keep you feeling satisfied, but it's also going to help you build and then maintain muscle mass, especially whilst you're losing weight. And then the last one is try and avoid eating out where you possibly can. Make sure you're watching out for things like sauces, butters, creams, and drinks, and we should be sweet. Hope all of this is all making sense. It's a little bit jumbled, but we'll get better every time we do these. Step 4, last 2 steps. Step 4 is you need to move more than you currently move. Now, this can be really fucking simple. If you are currently not moving at all, we are just going to start moving a little bit more. Let's get you outside and going for a walk. You don't need to stress too hard about what gym schedule you're on. Like, let me start this again. Your movement is not just things that you would think about in terms of burning calories. When people think about burning calories, they think about going to the gym, going on the Stairmaster, doing a HIIT class. You burn calories just walking more throughout the day. If you are currently getting 1,000 or 2,000 steps and you increase that to 7, 8, 9, 10,000 steps, you will burn 700 to 1,000 more calories over the course of that entire day, just because of the fact that you are moving significantly more, especially if you weigh a lot. It takes a lot of energy to get you moving around a little bit. So let's find a step count. I recommend more steps than you currently are. 3, 4, 5,000 more than what you're currently doing should be achievable. But if you want a blanket recommendation, somewhere between 10 and 12,000 steps is kind of like top tier. You are absolutely killing it. So get yourself a little active watch like my little Garmin here. Keep an eye on what your step count is throughout the day. Mine's 7,000 at the moment. It means that I need to go for a walk after I finish recording this. So let's get you moving a little bit more. Now, doing some physical activity outside of just moving more and walking is a really good idea as well. I would strongly recommend for lifting weights and going to the gym to build muscle so that you feel strong, so that when you lose weight, your body composition looks fantastic. You feel confident. You feel like you can do literally anything. If you would like to run or do yoga or do Pilates or whatever, that is totally fine. I just teach people to lift weights. That's what I enjoy, so that's what I'm going to recommend. So go to the gym, lift some weights, build some muscle. Building muscle is very important, especially if you are getting older. People die because they fall over and they can't stand back up again. So being able to get on and off the couch, in and out the car, and then on and off the floor, which you probably can feel how difficult that is right now, especially if you have a lot of weight to lose, are skills. These should not be skills that this should be something that absolutely everybody can do, especially if you want to safeguard yourself against becoming older. Strength training is also extremely important for women going through menopause. You are far more likely to have your bone density decrease way quicker than if you are lifting weights, for example, fights against that. So that will help combat against fractures and breaks and stuff like that as you are getting older as well. It will also help build some muscle so that you can actually eat some more food. So something to think about there too. So moving a little bit more, we're going to focus on our steps. How do you do that? Go outside and go for a walk around the block. When you go to the shops, park in the park that is furthest away from the shops. Don't park as close as you possibly can. Get as many steps as you possibly can. Park as far away as you can. Make life as inconvenient as possible, and you will get your steps up. And that brings us to our very last step for the day. Your last step. When people think about making change, they immediately go to their ceiling. They think about, how much do I want to do? I want to train 5 days a week. I want to get 12,000 steps. I want to hit my calorie and my macronutrient goals, all of those sort of things. What is your bottom floor? What is your baseline? What is the thing that you will not fall below no matter how hard or how challenging or how busy life gets? To use all of those as an example, maybe your bottom floor is you lift weights 3 times a week instead of the 5 times that is your ceiling. Instead of getting 12,000 steps, you get a minimum of 10,000 steps every single day. And maybe instead of trying to hit your calorie and your macronutrient goals, the bare minimum is that you hit your calorie goals. What is your floor? Your floor is, no matter how busy life gets, no matter how bad or upset or unmotivated you feel, you show up and you execute that bottom floor. Step number 2 was that I was saying, what does the new you do? The new you does that bottom floor every single day for the rest of their life. You need to make this a lifestyle change. You walk now. We move more. We go to gym a good handful of times a week. We eat healthy. We get to bed on time. We don't fucking sit and scroll on our screens for 8, 9, 10 hours a day. Those are the lifestyle changes that you are choosing to make. So go and make them and then stick to them. Whatever that bottom floor is, you do, you show up and you execute on every single day, and you do not stop until you have achieved your goals. Quick little recap. Then we're going to wrap this guy up. Acknowledge the pain and make the decision to change. Understand how hard life is right now. I can promise you that staying the same is harder and more miserable than you going through the process of having to figure out how to make the change. Promise you that. Change is big, change is scary, change is intimidating, but it is not as bad as you staying in the exact same position that you are in now. You want to change. We do not want to be how we are any longer. It's time to start. It's time to go and become the person that you want to become. You deserve to enjoy life, to be able to take your shirt off at the beach, to be able to feel good, and to be able to have self-respect. because you have got yourself to a position that you are proud of. Step number 2, what does the new you look like and what do they do? What are their habits? And then do them every single day. Write them all down. What time do they get out of bed? What are their sleep routines like? Who do they socialize with? What thoughts and feelings and content do they no longer watch anymore because it just gets them wound up and feeling bad about themselves? What do they do for their mental health? How often do they exercise? What foods do they eat? How do they approach eating out on the weekends? Do they go out and eat on the weekends? Do they drink? Or are they relatively healthy regarding those things? Step 3, understand energy balance. You have to be in a calorie deficit. I don't care about PCOS, your hormones, your stress levels, nothing. If you are not in a calorie deficit, you will not lose weight. Yes, all of those factors that I just named might make being in a calorie deficit a little bit more challenging because you crave food a little bit more often, or you're significantly less active, or whatever it is. You still need to be in a deficit, but also understand that that deficit will make all of those symptoms, maybe outside of the PCOS one, will likely make the majority of those symptoms significantly more manageable for you to a point where they might not even be problems anymore. Step 4, move more than you currently do. 3 to 5 extra 1,000 steps per day as a minimum. Get yourself a fit watch in some context and pay attention to the amount of steps that you are getting in a day. If you currently sit down and do fuck all, you're going to go for a walk in the morning, in the middle of the day, and then in the evening before you sit down and do fuck all. That is a fantastic start. Park further away from the shops. Get those steps up. Go for a walk around the block. First thing in the morning, last thing in the evening before you go to bed. Bonus points if you're doing it after each meal to help control your blood sugar a little bit more. Very last step, step number 5. Set your bottom floor, and no matter what comes up, no matter how you feel, you do not stop. You go and you execute that bottom floor. If you can do all of those things and you can do them consistently, rain, hail, or shine, for the next minimum 3 months, you will be in a completely different position to where you are now. Last thing, you have the choice to change your life. Nobody else is going to do that for you. If you want to change, you have to choose to change, and then you have to choose to show up. And then you have to choose to get around any obstacles that come up. Nobody else other than you can make that choice. But you also have to choose to stay exactly the same. You got to make the choice either way. Make the right choice. Lovely to chat. If you stuck around for 32 minutes, apologies that it took me this long to get through. There'll be an episode 2 at some stage. When? Don't know. Hopefully some of you guys got some value out of this. If not, I'll probably talk about it again in a future episode, but a little bit more concise and kind of nail shit together a little bit. If you have stuck around to the end, thank you so much. I'm so grateful for your time. And if you are the person who wants to get started and has a lot of weight to lose, I really hope that those 5 steps can be the thing that kick you into gear. You don't need anything more than what I just told you, but you do need to start. If you have listened to 33 minutes of this now and you choose to still not make a change, you're on your own. Can't help you with that. But if you choose to change, you want some help, you need anything at all, you message me, you let me know, I will help out. Shameless plug, I am obviously doing online coaching and in-person coaching as well. So if you need a good personal trainer, a coach who will give you a kick up the ass respectfully, or potentially help you out with your nutrition, I'm always available. Otherwise, TikTok, Instagram, I'll be there. And then, I'll be back here again soon. So until then, thank you so much for your time. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, anything you would like me to cover in future episodes, please leave it in the comments below. And until next time, chat with you soon. Take care.